Harassment and Discrimination in the Workplace by Camila Soto. Why is this topic important? Workplace hostility. Discrimination and harassment produce a hostile environment. 2. Impact on productivity. They lower worker engagement and output. 3. Legal repercussions. Businesses risk penalties and harm to their reputation. 4. Trust erosion. They erode the confidence that exists between management and staff. 5. Diversity and inclusion. They obstruct initiatives to advance these two concepts. Employees' personal well-being is negatively impacted, including their mental health. And then reputational damage. They have the power to damage the business's standing. In this presentation, I'm going to go more in depth on why these topics are important. The first one is hostile environment. A hostile environment encourages employees to experience sensations of dread, worry, and insecurity. They deteriorate teamwork and morale since workers could feel singled out or targeted. They result in higher rates of turnover and absenteeism. They lead to a decline in confidence in coworkers and management. They impede invention and creativity because there is insufficient psychological safety. They establish a culture of silence where victims are reluctant to come forward. And finally, they create a hostile work atmosphere that affects employees' contentment with their jobs overall. The second one is productivity impact. A reduction in the drive and excitement to deliver excellent work. Then, harassment and discrimination in the workplace also is a distraction from work, resulting in mental distress and stress. Decreased attention and focus on work-related tasks. A rise in absenteeism, again, as workers might try to escape the unfriendly atmosphere. An impaired employee cooperation and teamwork. Decreased capacity for creativity and problem solving. Deteriorated decision-making as a result of increased emotional stress. And finally, a loss of talent as talented workers go for other chances. Maybe these workers find a better atmosphere and stuff at a new job, so that's why they would leave. Then are the legal consequences. Potential litigation brought by workers alleging harassment and discrimination. Penalties arising from legal actions such as fines and settlements. Harm to the brand image and reputation of the business. The cost of defending against allegations of harassment. Consent decrees or court-ordered injunctions compelling the business to take corrective measures. Requirements for compliance and training in order to stop similar events in the future. And finally, adverse effects on investor confidence and value. This is very, very important for the business because you don't want anyone who is going to invest in your business or buy from your business to see that you have legal problems, because that will just make them run away to another business. Trust erosion. Trust erosion diminishes trust in management's competence to resolve problems at work, an increase in doubt about the company's dedication to worker welfare, a decline in trust in leadership teams or HR departments in the event that harassment allegations are mismanaged or disregarded. The impression that harassment offenders are not held accountable or are even being given preferential treatment. An increased culture of silence as a result of fear of reprisals or reporting harassment. A decline in trust in the moral principles and organization ideals. The challenge of creating cohesive teams and encouraging cooperation in the face of betrayal of trust. And finally, a detrimental effect on work satisfaction and staff morale that modifies companies' culture as a whole. It's good to have trust because you're working with these people every day and you just can't trust anyone to do your work. And you eventually have to build that up when there's new coworkers and new staff. Diversity and inclusion. Turn away diverse talent who might go elsewhere for inclusive work conditions. Discourage underrepresented groups from fully engaging in business projects and efforts. put up obstacles in the way of a person experiencing harassment or discrimination from advancing in their job, undermine attempts to promote diversity and inclusion by the reinforcement of discriminatory practices, encourage an inclusive atmosphere that makes underrepresented workers feel underappreciated or unwanted, restrict creative thinking and a range of viewpoints which impedes organizational development and competitiveness, distract prospective employees by harming the employer's reputation as an inclusive workplace and harming its brand, encourage systematic injustices and biases inside the company. This doesn't just apply to business or the business major. I feel like diversity and inclusion is everywhere in this world and is needed to function properly. Personal well-being. Elevated levels of stress, anxiety, and depression brought on by persistent discrimination or harassment. A detrimental effect on one's sense of value and self-esteem that results in feelings of inadequacy. In severe situations, symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, such as hypervigilance or flashbacks, consequences for physical health such as headaches, gastrointestinal problems, or insomnia, a decline in general pleasure and job satisfaction at work, tense interpersonal interactions with friends, family, and coworkers, reduced capacity for thought and judgment as a result of emotional strain, and finally, increased risk of abusing drugs or other unhealthy coping techniques. I feel like this is also something that doesn't just apply to business, but to every single major or company or job. Reputation damage. Negative public and media attention that harms the company's reputation, a decline in credibility and trust among clients, consumers, and business associates, lower employee loyalty and morale, which raises turnover rates, difficulty in attracting and keeping talented workers, effect on confidence and shareholder value, the costs of legal counsel and any associated fines from settlements and lawsuits, harm to long-term sustainability and brand equity, and finally, implications for community connections and corporate social responsibility programs. This is also something that a potential investor or consumer would not want to see if they are planning to invest in your business. The summary. In conclusion, discrimination and harassment at work foster a poisonous atmosphere that undermines trust, prevents productivity, and harms the well-being of employees. These actions hinder initiatives to promote diversity, inclusion, and a positive corporate culture, in addition to putting businesses at risk of legal action and harming their brand. Organizations must take a proactive approach to resolving these problems by putting in place comprehensive training programs, explicit policies, and helpful channels for reporting and handling discrimination and harassment. Businesses may build a culture of respect, justice, and equality while boosting employee engagement, productivity, and reputation protection by emphasizing a courteous and inclusive workspace. Thank you, and this is the end of my presentation.